my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Kazzy here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you my book wish list. Now this is different to my most anticipated releases of the rest of 2017 in that these books are already out. They're just ones that I want to have but I don't have. Or they're extremely difficult to get a hold of here in Northern Ireland for whatever reason. So without further ado, let's just get into them. The first book on my wish list is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is all about a utopian world where disease, hunger, war and misery are no longer an affliction on the planet. But in order to keep the population under control, scythes are used. And this book follows two teens who must know the art of killing. And it's not that, you know, you need to just kill this person. You need to understand the implication of this person's death in the long term. Can I just kill him because it's his time? And it doesn't just seem to be something as simple as just like touching them and boom, they're dead. It just seems like a really dark and interesting and fun read. Fun read, reading about death. That's morbid. The next book that I'm interested in getting is Valiant by Leslie Livingston. This follows Fallon's journey from a Celtic princess to a legendary warrior after her sister Sorsha is killed by Caesar's armies. But she's later captured and sold to a gladiator training camp that is owned by Caesar. And so what intrigues me most about this is that it's just a Celtic warrior, names like Sorsha, Caesar. I want to know how like Caesar comes into anything that's to do with the Celtic side, and female gladiators. That just sounds so badass. Next up is Everland by Wendy Spinelli, I think that's how you pronounce the name, and this is a Peter Pan retelling, and it follows Gwen, Joanna and Michael, who have just survived the Blitz of London, and they spend their nights scavenging for food, for anything they can to survive. But one night Joanna is captured by Captain Hook, who uses these children as a way to try to find a cure for this disease that happens to be ravaging the country. And so he experiments on kids, and so Gwen and Michael would do anything to get their sister back, including talking to this daredevil called Pete and his gang of lost boys. It sounds far-fetched for Peter Pan retelling, but it sounds so good. It actually reminds me a little bit of a part of Hollow City in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children that has me so intrigued for this book and why I would love to read it, because I don't know, like Peter Pan retellings are few and far between, and Peter Pan is one of my favorite Disney movies. I'm saying movie because I haven't read the original book. Shame on me, I know, but it was never on a required reading list at school. But I'm always interested in seeing how they retell Peter Pan, because it's very straightforward, you know, and I wanted to see this different side of Captain Hook, this different personality of Captain Hook and Peter and the Lost Boys, and how everything like that comes into play. I also want to read These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is literally like Romeo and Juliet meets Titanic. Strange, I know, but it's a space opera about two star-crossed lovers that are on this deserted planet after their luxury liner falls out of space and crash lands on this planet. It sounds bizarre and far-fetched, but it really sounds interesting, especially when you just like see a luxury cruise liner fall off from space. And somehow these two miraculously survive. Yep. Romeo and Juliet meets Titanic in hyperspace. Next is The Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. This was actually recommended to me by a colleague of mine who loves reading as well, and she loves fantasy. And so she was like saying that this has witches, demons and vampires sold. But this is about a character called Diana Bishop who's descended from witches. And she opens this alchemic manuscript that exposes her to this new world that she's been trying to avoid all of her life. And creatures start to gather where she is in Oxford that threatens to unravel a peace that has been upheld for years. That just seems fascinating because you have demons, vampires, and witches. That just seems like the ultimate fantasy grouping for me. You don't usually see all of them in a book at once. You usually see demons or vampires together, or witches and demons together, but the whole trifecta. Hello! And because my colleague has recommended this to me, and she's just like, you need to read it, it's awesome, it's so good. I actually had it in my hand one day in Eason's, but I put it down and picked up this Savage song by B.E. Schwab. Like, she was like saying, why did you do that? I don't know. I was afraid of it, to be perfectly honest. It's such a big book, but I will get to it. I do want it in my life at some point. Next is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is pretty much the vaguest description ever, because nobody really describes this book because it seems to be very spoilery if you do. But one day a circus isn't there, next it is, no warnings, no announcements are made, it opens at nightfall and closes at dawn. It just seems that what Caraval was like based off of or inspired from, and so I loved Caraval so much. I loved it. And I know a lot of people didn't, but I absolutely adored it, and so because of that I really want to read The Night Circus. Next up is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. A contemporary on a Kazzy wishlist? Oh. What is this strange new world that we're entering into? I know. At first when I heard about Geekerella I was not interested at all, but then when people started talking about it I became very interested in it, and I read more and more synopsies, whatever, of it, and I started to become very interested in it. It follows this girl who has her online blog, and she loves this old TV series called Starfield, and it's getting a reboot, which basically just sounds like Star Trek to me. She's entering this cosplay competition in order to meet the cast, and so she puts everything into this cosplay outfit, but her stepsisters obviously are going to try and foil this attempt. But this actor that's been cast as one of the beloved characters, everybody's kind of written him off as just this hunk with no brain. He doesn't know anything about the show, but he's actually a fan of the show too. But when he meets our Cinderella character, he starts to think otherwise, that he actually can do this, and it just sounds like such a feel-good read, and I just think that I will actually probably appreciate the storyline a lot, because it is based on a girl that loves science fiction and it's getting rebooted. She's getting a less than stellar cast, but then she's gonna probably eat her words later on in the book. It just sounds like so cute to me, and like, I know usually cute and me don't really mix with books, or like cute and me don't really mix with books that I want, but this one just sounds up my street. What can I say? I'm like, I am getting my fantasy, it's just in a contemporary. That's how I'm getting around it. Next up is Alex and Eliza by Melissa De La Cruz. I am obsessed with Hamilton, and Alex and Eliza is about Alexander Hamilton and Eliza Schuyler. And it's just basically about how they met and fell in love, and it's just, I just want to read it because it's Alexander Hamilton and I'm obsessed with the musical. And in the musical you don't really get a lot about how they met and fell in love. They just like meet at this ball, this Schuyler's ball, and next thing you know, they're married. Yes, you get a song about it, but I wanted a lot more. At some point I would also like to get the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. This is a YA fantasy series that has a new take on fairy tales set in a futuristic world where cyborgs, earthens, androids, and a race of moon colonists all coexist. That's all that I really know, and that I know they cover Cinderella, Snow White, Rapunzel, and Little Red Riding Hood, I think, are all involved, but it just sounds wonderful. It's talked about a lot on BookTube, and one of my friends has actually recommended it to me, so it just sounds very good. Fairy tale characters as cyborgs, where do I sign? Next on my wish list is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. I think that's how you pronounce the name. So many people have like difficult names. And it's another contemporary on my list. Who are you? What have you done with the real Kazzy? It's crazy for me too. This is all about Eliza, duh. And she has this online persona where she's this author of this very popular web series comic, but nobody else knows about this online life that she has. But then this guy transfers to her school, and she begins to think that a life offline might not be such a bad thing. But then everybody at school then finds out about her secret online life, and it threatens to expose everything that she has built. I personally also have an online life. I have like Like Kazzy, this is my online persona. I've always gone by Kazzy online, but nobody in my offline life calls me Kazzy. One person does. I can understand what Eliza is potentially going to go through. This has been getting a lot of buzz on BookTube. A lot of people seem to be really loving it, and they're talking about it, and they just seem to really enjoy it. And it seems to be told in like a different format than just plain prose. So I'm interested in seeing what this is all about. And lastly on my book wish list is Fallen Kingdom by Morgan Rhodes. Again, this is a book that I have been hearing a lot of hype about. It's one that I cannot find anywhere in Ireland, whether it is in Waterstones or Eason's. I'm probably going to have to go through Book Depository or eBay or Amazon to try to find it. It's all about this world where magic has been forgotten and peace has reigned for centuries, but the unrest is simmering below the surface. Three kingdoms battle for power in this book. A princess journeys into enemy territory to find long thought extinct magic. A rebel becomes leader of a bloody revolution. And a sorceress finds out the truth about a supernatural legacy that she is destined to wield. That sounds awesome. And if that could tell that I was reading from that, sorry. Sometimes I'm not great at summaries. Sometimes. Okay, a lot of the time I'm not great at summaries, but to have it written down this time actually really helped. But Fallen Kingdoms has been getting a lot of hype. A lot of people seem to love it. A lot of people on Bookstagram love it and highly recommend it. And it just intrigues me so much. And that thing about the sorceress, I'm just thinking, okay, if this sorceress is not called Morgause, I'm going to be very disappointed. Because Morgause is like literally my go-to sorceress for everything. And I just want her to wield the power of destiny. Okay, slightly off topic. But there you have it, you guys. Those are the 10 books that are currently on my book wish list. It changes every single day because more books come out, more books are recommended, more books are talked about on BookTube that I want to get. And let's just face it, like every single one of these books on my bookshelves is literally because of BookTube. If I ever did the BookTube made me buy it tag, I would just be showing you my entire bookcase. It might as well just be a bookshelf tour. And so that wraps up this video, guys. I hope you liked it. Let me know what books are on your book wish list, whether you want these books too, whether you've read them or not. Let me know what your thoughts are on them. Subscribe if you haven't already by clicking the little button down below and turning that little bell notification on just so that you know when I've uploaded a new video. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!